Welcome back to SJHL Weekly across the SJHL social media platforms. Thanks so much for joining us today. It's Jamie Neugebauer, Jeromy Corrigan. Thanks so much for joining us. And we are pleased to be joined now by the Commissioner of the Saskatchewan Junior Hockey League, Mr. Kyle McIntyre. Kyle, thanks so much for joining us today. We really appreciate it. How's it going today?
Gentlemen, thank you for having me on.
Well, I guess, you know what, first and foremost, Kyle, obviously, this year is your first full season as commissioner in the Saskatchewan Junior Hockey League. How has the first couple of months been for you?
Well, you know what? I'll tell you what, 7 months has flown by quite rapidly now that the season is well underway and people are getting out to rinks. And I've been in rinks and you folks have been in rinks and our show's been running. And you know what? We're off to a tremendous start here in the Saskatchewan Junior Hockey League. And we're almost halfway through the season, believe it or not, for some clubs.
Yeah, it's been fun. You're right. It's flown by. I got to ask you now that you're halfway through a season. What were maybe one or two things that have surprised you about the gig and maybe about the SJHL?
Well, I think first and foremost about the league itself, what has really surprised me is the level of skill and the level of speed and the pace of play, and of course the competitive nature, the parity that exists in the league. So all those have kind of been a surprise for me. And you know what, in my previous life, I watched a lot of CHL and a lot of 18U AAA, and at one point. In kind of hockey in Saskatchewan, the 18U AAA really was probably the league with the most speed and the most skill. And I would say certainly that's been replaced by the Saskatchewan Junior Hockey League. Every game that I have gone to, there have been no blowouts, and it's very competitive. And I have been very impressed with the passion, with the 200-foot game, with the goals, with the skill, with the speed, with the officiating. Like it's been an outstanding start.
Just to build off that, Kyle, when you touched on the parity, I mean, we saw it right from the get-go at the SJHL Showcase in Warman, and now we're seeing it throughout the season. Every team's still in it when it comes to a playoff spot. Is that all you could ask for as a commissioner, to see, obviously such a competitive brand of hockey in the SJHL?
Well, I mean, it's certainly it's something you want to see as a commissioner. It's probably not something you want to see as a fan or a coach and general manager, right? But I do think that we're starting to see some separation here. Even Nipawin that's sitting right now in the seventh spot, they've really increased the speed of their game. They've had some key acquisitions here the last couple of weeks, and so they're starting to separate themselves a little bit from Yorkton and Weyburn and Melville and Notre Dame. And so I don't want to see any team really get out of it. Every time Kindersley plays, I'm secretly pulling for them to get some wins because they got some quality players, they got some good skill, and Ken Paquin is a heck of a guy. And you know what 7 games they've gone in overtime, and I think maybe only one has gone their way. And so you look at the swing of the additional points, and I mean that puts them right back in the hunt, right? The other team I feel bad for is Melville. Like Melville's got some really skilled guys, and they've made some key acquisitions as well, but they can't seem to put together a complete 60 right now. So you're concerned about some of those teams, and then up at the top, like who is going to catch the North Stars? Like they just keep going and going and going. I was at the North Stars and Ice Wolves game the other night in North Battleford, and I kind of thought, oh boy, they're ripe for the picking. Dole is not there, and the lines are kind of reconfigured, and Braden is away, and Chile is doing everything, filling water bottles and opening both gates. Are they going to be able to hold on? And you know what? And Josh Cote was absolutely outstanding. Just when you think that the Ice Wolves are in alone and they're peppering Cote, he just is pulling off saves like crazy, right? So you kind of look at that, and you kind of look at Melfort Mustangs. They're coming on. I think Trevor has done a good job. He's got everyone back, and everyone's healthy, and of course Mike Reagan. His teams are always in the hunt, and you know what? And then Estevan is coming on too. The challenge with Estevan is they've played more games than everybody else, right? So I'll tell you what, we're going to have an incredible second half, and when we start getting into the quarterfinals and semifinals and finals, it's anyone's guess about who's going to be there.
Yeah, no question about it. That Chile, man, he's great assistant coach in this league. I gotta ask you too. I guess it's going on now in real time now. I guess as we talk about this interview happening right now, and I want to be as diplomatic as possible, and I'm sure you as well. So first of all, I want to talk about the World Junior A Challenge in the light of being proud of Ethan Zilke and Zach Summers. They're two great players. I'm sure you would agree that will represent our league super well with Canada West. But is there any frustration on your part that there weren't maybe a few more Saskatchewan, Manitoba kids even, at the event?
Yeah, you know what? I was talking to Kevin Surratt, commissioner of the Manitoba Junior Hockey League, the other day, and way back a few years ago, there used to be a bit of a ratio that was put in for the league. So you had to have X number of players from Manitoba and Alberta and Saskatchewan and British Columbia when they're involved. I've been talking to Coach Braden Klamosko almost daily, and you know what? He said our four guys are right there. It's just kind of a matter of depth and a matter of speed. He said that Zach has had a very good camp and Ethan had a very good camp. And, when I look around the league, I look at a guy like Tim Kim. Could he have been there? Like I would say that he's a pretty high end guy, right? And, you look at some of the other guys like that are in the league. And so you'd love to see more guys there. But what Braden would tell me, he said basically the defense that are there are younger than a lot of our defensemen. And probably the youngest guy from Alberta that's on the back end is probably better than any defenseman we have in our league. So, we'll see how competitive it is. I guess it is frustrating, but you look at the law of numbers, right? So we have roughly 1 million people in the province of Saskatchewan, and out of our hockey players from '04 to '06, like probably about 278 are playing out of the province in the WHL, or other leagues like that. So it's a bit of a, I think you see over time that depending on the strength of the cohort and the number of kids, I think that number would fluctuate. I was having a supper the other night with the head scout from the Brooks Bandits, and we were discussing the differences between the SJHL and AJHL, and again, we probably have a lot more parity in the league. We probably play more of a 200-foot game. I look at our top teams, and they would probably outsize both Spruce Grove and Brooks. But when you look at Brooks, the way they've built their team is skill and speed, right? And getting through a league, skill and speed might not win for you, but when you go to the Centennial Cup, that skill and speed is probably going to benefit you because you're in a short round robin tournament and you're not going to see these teams 7 times over a course of 10 days and get beat up. So I think that, I'm pleased with the way our league is. I'm pleased with the level of skill in our league. Of course, I'd always like us to be better, and I would see Alberta as being our competition. And you know what? I want to get to a point where our scouts and the World Junior A Challenge are choosing more Saskatchewan kids over the Alberta kids that are in our league. So, am I a little bit disappointed, to make a long answer long? Yes, I am, but I also trust Braden's judgment, and he tells me we got a ways to go for our overall quality of our league.
To kind of also build off that too, Kyle, I know since, we've developed our working relationship, one of the things you wanted to implement as commissioner of the Saskatchewan Junior Hockey League is having more Saskatchewan kids playing in the Saskatchewan Junior Hockey League. And recently we have launched the Stay Here, Play Here campaign to try and get more Saskatchewan kids playing in the Saskatchewan Junior Hockey League. How important do you think that campaign is, and how important do you think it is to continue to grow off that 37% of Saskatchewan kids that currently play in the league?
Yeah, you know what? Again, I'm someone who has always been passionate about both the Saskatchewan Junior Hockey League and our 18U AAA League, and I do believe we have real quality players in Saskatchewan. And you know what? When I look at Laurent, so Laurent has just brought back Buchert and Cassette. Cassette was the leading scorer last year in AAA League. Went to the Alberta League, probably didn't get the ice time or the opportunities he thought he was going to get. Comes back to Laurent. Laurent pulls their goalie at the end of the game, and who's on the ice? Buchert and Cassette, getting lots of touch, getting lots of reps. You look at Scott Barney the other night, plays Notre Dame. He's got 406s in the lineup, and Michigan State is there, absolutely salivating over some of the players that Scott has playing that are 06s. You look at Riley Ash. I think we're going to hear something about Riley Ash this week coming out of the U.S. So, you know what? I think that the kids that are in that 07 cohort, we had an excellent draft last year in SJHL. I think parents are seeing, hey, you know what? The league is getting its stuff together here. They're doing a better job promoting the teams and promoting the prospects, and the level of play is outstanding. And you know what? The message I would like to give the families is that you don't have to go to British Columbia or Alberta to get a scholarship. You can get one right here in the SJHL. And the kids that are on our rosters, the 16-year-old kids, the 17-year-old kids, they're playing. And I mean, you know what? If you're going to go to the Western League and be a 16-year-old and sit on the bench, that's not great for your development. You might as well come to Saskatchewan Junior Hockey League, play, develop, get some looks, and then you got a decision to make whether you're going to play in the CHL or you're going to stay in the CJHL and try to go the college route. So we're getting lots of looks. And you know what? Again, some of these kids that are playing, they're playing a regular shift. They're on a power play. They're getting lots of touches. They're getting lots of looks. And the great thing about it is parents can watch their kids play, right? So you can either travel to the rink or tune into the hockey TV or tune into the SJHL Weekly to figure out what's going on. So I see this growing. I appreciate the campaign. In my own view, 39% is not high enough. Probably when you look at our league, the team that has the most Saskatchewan kids on it are the North Battleford North Stars. They have a number of kids that are actually from their local association, and they're first place in the CJHL. So that tells me that our Saskatchewan kids, if they're not the most talented, at least they have lots of chemistry and they know how to play the game the right way and they're competitive. And I tip my hat to a guy like Braden Klamosko, who's got such a local contingency on his team.
Yeah, and just a quick add to that, great coaches in this league to lead those kids too. So I think that's a good point as well. I want to embarrass a guy in this chat for a second, and I'm sure other people elsewhere too for a second, because from my perspective, being in the league a number of years, Kyle, I am extremely happy, as somebody who's part of a team in the league, with the work that's being done behind the scenes by Jeromy, Corrigan, by Jacob Faith, the director of marketing, and everybody sort of behind the scenes, IKS Media coming on board doing an elite job too. I'm just wondering if you could talk about kind of the work that they've done to brand this league in a way that is competitive as well, because better than me that branding and marketing and things like that are just as important in some ways as the quality on the ice.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to say first and foremost that both Jeromy and Jacob are outstanding people. They're outstanding teammates, and they have an unparalleled passion about the Saskatchewan Junior Hockey League. So that's what I really appreciate working with them. And you know what? Whether we hop on a call or hop on a text or meet face to face, we all have a similar passion and vision for the league. But I would be remiss if I did not mention our Board of Governors. So that vision for the league, really, that started at our strategic retreat in June. And so the governors and I developed a bit of a vision for the league in terms of our marketing and our business operations and our hockey operations. And then we took that plan and I started to work with Paul Druin from IKS and Clark Monroe, and they identified that, hey, you know what, this is a great plan and we can help you bring it to fruition. And we got the guy that is going to help you do that, and Jeromy Corrigan. And of course, I did not know Jeromy from a hole in the ground. I knew he worked in Kindersley as a play-by-play guy. I knew he worked in Estevan, following in the lines of a guy like Michael Ball or Clark Monroe. All the guys who've been through there, Pete Lombardius. So they always produce quality sports broadcasters there. But you know what? Jeromy has been absolutely outstanding. He brings a level of professionalism and preparedness that I have not seen before. And he's very knowledgeable. He's very well regarded by our coaches and our fans and our players. And what other guy could bring order and a semblance of impartiality to the league between a couple homers that we have on every week? So he's done a great job doing that, directing traffic and refereeing. But no, it's been a pleasure to work for him. And certainly, he's become synonymous with the Saskatchewan Junior Hockey League, right? Kind of the voice and the presence, and has certainly exceeded my expectations as a commissioner.
He gets paid. He gets paid to keep Rory and I apart. Everything else really is volunteer work, I'd say.
Well, like last week, I thought he was going to have to do an intervention when you started to mention all the CHL players playing in Humboldt. So, boy, I thought we were going to have a melee on the set.
I was just happy that interaction was all via video chat, and I didn't have to step in. Luckily, we were all in 3 different locations. Just to, I guess, put a conclusion on that, of course, thank you so much, both of you, for the kind words. But, I mean, it's a pleasure to work for, obviously, the Saskatchewan Junior Hockey League and be a part of a league that's where I started my career. And it meant a lot getting a phone call saying, hey, would you like to come back to a league that, I got my career started with and, try and better the league. And it was an easy decision to come out here, and I haven't regretted it since, because it's been a lot of fun, and I can't believe it's already been 5 months. Time has flown by.
And you've put in some great shifts, so certainly you have my All-Star nomination coming up.
But hey, you know what I'll say, though, with holidays coming up, maybe if I could get some some of those airplane traffic cones to kind of direct Jamie and Rory, just to steer them in the right direction at the show, just so we can keep everything in order. Or maybe a gavel. Can we get a gavel for the table?
Well, maybe.
That'd be good.
Or a
gong.
taser to be quiet.
Yeah, maybe that.
Pepper spray.
Well, we'll get right back on track, though. And you know what? To also kind of build off that, let's talk about the work that yourself and Jacob have done, because there's been so many great new partnerships, too, in the Saskatchewan Junior Hockey League this season. Do you want to speak to some of the ones that have really stood out for you, Kyle?
Well, I'll tell you what, like, you know what, like, you certainly do a good job acknowledging our sponsors with every broadcast. And so we certainly appreciate that. And of course, we've had lots of long-term sponsors, and we're uncertain about what our relationship would look like coming out of COVID. And of course, a brand new team. So I'm new, and Jacob is new, and you're new. So people don't know what to expect from a new group that's looking after the league. And so Jacob and I have worked hard to build relationships and to maybe repair a couple of relationships, and certainly some of our new sponsors coming on. We got Polaris that's come on. We got a pretty good thing going on with them. We got Kent Seats. Kent has been outstanding to kind of work with. Phantom has been outstanding to work with, and of course, I don't want to miss anybody. But when you think about Tourism Saskatchewan, you think about Sask Energy, you think about Chevrolet, you think of Capital, you think of Super U, like you think of SGEU. We've had so many outstanding sponsors that are excited about the league. And you know what? Through 165 games, we put over 100,000 people through our games. So we're averaging about 618 people per game, and that includes Nugsy Zone Notre Dame. So our attendance features are absolutely outstanding, and I think part of that is that there's no restrictions. I think the quality of the games and the parity in the league really makes going to a game entertaining. I'm seeing a lot more families at our games, and so again, all those things kind of work together, right? So our sponsors are getting a good return on investment. Certainly IKS and Jeromy, you're doing an outstanding job kind of acknowledging our sponsors and giving them love, whether it's on SJHL Weekly or the Insider or our game day stuff that we've started doing. Like all that stuff is excellent value. We've improved the quality of our telecasts with our hockey TV. We still got to fine tune a couple, but overall the production is better. The quality of picture is better. People can enjoy the games. We've got so many exciting play-by-play guys throughout the league, and everyone has their own kind of unique style and nuances. So all those things are just, it's symbiotic. They're all working together. It's all working well. It's all moving us in a positive direction. And so been very happy with the sponsors, been very happy with their support. I hope they're getting a lot of value, and they're seeing, what a great Saskatchewan product we have. And a lot of our sponsors are Saskatchewan people with interest in our 12 Saskatchewan communities. So it's been absolutely outstanding. I can't speak enough about our sponsors. We don't have a show like this without our sponsors, as you would say, Jeromy. And you know what? It's been awesome. Really enjoyed the partnership. Met some great people too.
Yeah, for sure. Then just the last one for me. Then personal interest. We were talking a little bit about the SJMJ showcase. People are always interested in that. What's the latest? When might it be? Where is it going to be? And where's the process for that tournament and that event?
Okay, so it's going to be January 31st and February 1st. It's going to be in Winnipeg. I think it's at the Winnipeg Ice Complex, I believe, off the top of my head. So right now what we're doing is I have all 12 coaches nominating about 10 players from every team. And so we're doing a bit of a SurveyMonkey survey that's going around, and we're having our coaches identify people that they think should be on our 18U team and then on our 220U teams. And so we'll identify a long list, and then Coach Mike Regan and Trevor Blevins have put together a bit of an Excel form that will rank our players that are on the long list. And so we're going to try to take 60 players that have a great opportunity to move on to some kind of a post-secondary or post-SJHL hockey opportunity, because the showcase between Saskatchewan and Manitoba is best on best. So they're bringing 3 teams, we're bringing 3 teams. There's going to be lots of scouts from the U.S. that are going to be there that know this is going to be very good hockey. Again, it's going to be my first experience rolling through it. So all I really know is what I've been told by Bill Chow and what I've been told by Kevin Surratt. So I'm looking forward to seeing how that plays out. And you know what? Hopefully we have at least 1 or 2 players from every team. I want to make sure that every one of our communities is represented, but I also want to make sure that we have the most competitive team that we can field.
Finally, Kyle, you mentioned obviously the SJMJ Showcase at the end of January, but it's going to be a busy last 3 months of the SJHL regular season and then into the playoffs and then the Centennial Cup. But what are your kind of expectations for the last couple of months of the season? What are you looking forward to? And what are some things you want to accomplish?
Well, I don't know what I want to accomplish. I mean, I set out a number of goals at the start of the year, and you know what? I've been happy that I've been able to check a lot of those off. And so, one of the things I wanted to do is I want to make sure I met with every board of governors, every local board throughout the league, and I've done that now. So, and that's been awesome. If it wasn't for the many volunteers in our league, whether it's people that sit on a board, whether people that are billets, people that are timekeepers, people that are volunteering at the games, selling merchandise or working in the concession. Like our volunteers really keep our league going. So I really want to make sure that I met with all the boards and volunteers and got some awesome people that are passionate about hockey, which is super, right? I want to make sure that I've been in every rink at least twice. And so I'm circling back. I've been in a few rinks more than twice. So I mean, that's been outstanding, right? And of course, you want to make sure that all 12 teams are going to be competitive right to March the 17th, right? And so I think that we're going to see that. I don't know whether North Battleford can continue to roll through the season and not be defeated in regulation time. That's been pretty exciting. And you know what? Again, probably three guys that are real kind of studs in that team, and the rest of them. The unique thing about the North Stars, I would say that they have an unparalleled chemistry on that team. Just the way that those guys get along with one another and move the puck and help one another and seem to know what's going on. So that's kind of been exciting as well. Another goal, I would say that, you know, I'd always want to make sure that as a league we're fiscally solvent. I want to make sure that our Department of Player Safety and our standard of play is continuing to have a positive impact on our play. Our officiating this year has been absolutely outstanding. You know what? We probably have 3 or 4 officials that have really got some opportunities. So, like, you know, Ty Skeen, he is at the World Under 17. He's getting lots of recognition nationally, and that's awesome. And then we got Sienna Leafers that has been working in the American League, and that's awesome. You know, and so Adam Forbes is another guy that really is making an impact. So although we sometimes get hammered on social media when calls don't go local teams' way, I would say I've been very pleased with the officiating, the consistency, and the quality. And you know what? And our coaches too have been outstanding to work with. Like, you know what? Like, they've been respectful and professional, and a lot of them helped me as I stick handle through things here on my first go around. So for me, I want to make sure our teams are competitive. I want to make sure that our league is fiscally solvent. I want to make sure our franchises are fiscally solvent. And, you know, the best way to do that is to have an entertaining team and to put bums in seats. And I would say that, you know what, like this year, I've seen a marked improvement in attendance. When I go to Kindersley, they got great crowds there. And you know what, it'd be easy for them to be disengaged because they're fighting for a playoff spot. But you know what, they have a great atmosphere in that rink and great fans and a fun team to watch. And Melville, their fans are up too. And I'm seeing more families in the rink, young families, and our game is still affordable, which is awesome. So many good things. And you know what, I really can't put my finger on anything other than that. I know I've been rambling a little bit, but I'm very pleased with kind of the direction and how things are going. I know that we got our trade deadline coming up here. I'm not sure how much action there'll be around that. We've been pretty busy throughout the year. I know that we're going to have our draft coming up probably first week of June. That's going to be exciting, and we're going to build on that success. So we're going to have a playoff preview show that Jeromy and Nugsy and Rory are going to look after. So, I mean, there's lots of exciting things ahead, exciting times ahead in the Saskatchewan Junior Hockey League.
Yeah, it's been a great first couple of months of the regular season. It's going to be a great next couple of months to finish up the regular season. And it's going to be an outstanding playoffs. Kyle, thank you so much for your time. We always appreciate it. And if we don't see you before, Merry Christmas, Happy Holidays, and we'll see you in the new year.
Well, Merry Christmas to both of you and to Rory, who is not on set right now. And I'm sure I will see you both before holidays.